It's the world's favorite place to go for fun, car romance, and talk. This is the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Today coming to you from Woody's Waterfront Rod and Custom Car Show. Just ahead, another car lover is in our sights.
Uh-oh.
And we're going to stick the microphone on his face. Later, Jeff has the racing calendar. Mars has This Week in Auto History, and I'll get you caught up on the stories making automotive news headlines this week. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world, Mars, down there chatting amongst themselves. We always need more Jeff Zekin. Our chief engineer, David Ainsley, is with us today. We got him out of bed early. We have our built-in audience. That'd be Jeff Heitzman. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us on this Saturday. It is simply gorgeous down here. Okay, so Galveston Bay, Trinity Bay. We're right between the two, right here on the point in San Leon, Texas.
And there's not a cloud in the sky.
And Jeff's going to have a little story about the founding of San Leon.
That's my feature today, so pay attention.
All right, we got that coming up.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Mars, who do we have in the hot seat?
You know, one of these days when I grow up, I am going to have a 32
You'd better hurry up.
Yeah, I know. And this particular one that we have right here now, Danny Burroughs is here with it. And he is with Bruce's Rod Shop. Bruce's Rod Shop. You know, if you remember, I didn't realize
Bruce's
it until
Rod Shop, didn't we?
A few years ago, we talked to his mother at Pipes and Tacos.
They
She was out
three of
there
these.
in a Roadster as well.
Three of them, yeah.
Yeah. So he's out here today with this one, and I love it.
Yeah.
What is that, a 32?
Yes, sir.
It's a 32, what I would call a low boy.
Well, actually, that's a high bore roaster.
This one's a high boy.
Yes, sir. Uh-huh.
What's the difference between a high boy and a low boy?
High bore roaster, the body is not channeled over the frame. A low bore roaster, the body's channeled over the frame, which makes it look, of course, lower to the ground.
Okay.
And this is a high boy?
Yeah, high bore is basically
on standard.
It's on a standard 32 Ford chassis. Basically, a high bore roaster is basically a stock appearing car that they pull the fenders and running boards off of. And so back in the pre-war era, when they were starting to build hot rods, 32s were kind of the golden child of the
plentiful. And
exactly,
they were light.
Exactly. And so basically, you could get one relatively inexpensive, and the racers out in Southern California, there's running out at the Dry Lakes and El Mirage. They would just pull the fenders off and go out there and
just like you see it here.
Yes, sir.
Now, was it a two-seater always?
Yes.
It's always
sir.
a two-seater.
Yes, sir.
Who bought that car back when it was new? I can't imagine a family car.
No, they had this 32 was available with either a trunk car or a rumble seat car.
A rumble seat.
So a small family. Well, everybody was small back then. The average person was probably 5'4" or so.
That's I was.
And so way back then. Yeah, I've seen pictures.
Then, yeah.
And so so they could have had the kids in the back and then have the parents or
in the rumble seat, so when they rolled it over, the kids go flying out.
Yeah. Just eject them and they're okay.
Yeah.
The rumble seat, you could get the rumble seat with the Roadster?
Yeah, you could get a rumble seat with every two-seater body style.
What was it? I'm just asking because I got to ask these questions as we go along here.
Of course. Could
you make the rumble seat after the car was already built with a trunk?
Yes. This particular car, if I remember correctly, was a rumble seat car that we converted to a trunk car. Basically, the deck lid's the same, the body's the same. There's one panel that the deck lid latches to that bolts in and out between the two different body styles or the two different options, and so you could have a trunk car and later on decided that you wanted a rumble seat and basically convert it to a rumble seat car.
How long have you had this car?
This car, it's been on the road since 2009. We've had it for numerous years before then. We were collecting parts for it.
So this is your restoration.
Yes, sir. This is actually my dad's roaster that me and him built together at our shop.
Well, you have a beautiful model. That,
thank you.
The model. That's
the model.
The guy that's showing you.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That guy. But I guess the model is in the eye of the beholder because he's not a beauty to me.
The prison pre-release program is working
That's
wonders.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, that, sir, is Michael Wooding, sometimes known as Woody. This is his car show, and so I
Our
guess he can
host
Well,
do
today's
whatever
Woodette.
you-
with the most.
You
He's
can do
Woodette.
whatever you want to do if you own the show. Is that all right? So, what kind of motors it got in it? It's not a flathead.
No, not this one. This one, 32 was the first year for a flathead, so it could have had a flathead from the factory. This one here has actually got a small block Chevrolet in it with a 5-speed.
Okay, now why? See, I have just a little bit of an issue with that. Why would you put a Chevrolet motor into a Ford vehicle when there are Ford motors available to go in that?
The easiest way to answer that is they fit better in between the firewall and the radiator than a Ford does, because of the architecture of a Ford motor is long in the front, and so which means that to have enough room for electric fan and radiator and accessories, that the motor has to be moved back in the chassis, which encroaches into your foot-room in the car. So that's the simple way of saying it.
Or you could put a Ford 4-banger in there.
Well, they had that from the factory. You could either get 32 was kind of the biggest transition year, because of course Ford came out with the V8 in that year, and they were basically during those year ranges. Chevrolet was kicking their tails on sales because of the inline 6. That was a good power plant in the Chevrolet models back then.
But then again, the same issue holds true. You can't put a straight 6 in it because it's too long.
Exactly. Yeah, and so the V8 platform from Ford in the flathead gave them the more cubic inches and the more power in a relatively small compact size.
See, I'm thinking right now, the first thing that comes to my mind, something that's small. Of course, if you can't hot rod it too much, but the turbocharged Buick V6, would fit?
Yeah, we actually several years back we built a 27 Roadster for a customer that had a turbocharged V6 in it, and we tried to convince the customer. That was the first V6 turbocharged motor that we had worked on, and putting it into a hot rod. And so we tried to convince the customer, man, we could put a small block in this thing and it'd work great and have good power. And he's like, no, this is the power plant that I want to run. This is what I want. And so sometimes the customer is right. And, so you get sometimes the customer is right. And so we put that in there, and the first opportunity that I got to drive the car when we got on the road, I had my own Roadster at the time that had about a 400 horsepower small block in it. And so I was very familiar on what that car felt like with that power range. And this motor was built and it had a similar power range. And so I got out and kind of put my foot in it, and it's like, this piece of junk. And then that turbo spooled up.
Kick?
Oh, it kicked like a mule and took off, and all you could hear is just rushing wind from the turbo and the wind being an open car. And that was the moment that a turbocharged, small cubic inch, small displacement motor gave me the respect.
Now let me take that one step further. So, how much reliable horsepower can you get out of a flathead V8? Say, for instance, a 32.
Well, an original 32.
No, not the original.
I know, but the original architecture of a 32 motor, the types of bearings that they use is not a good platform to make power out of.
Didn't they modify those though in later years?
Yes, later years. Basically.
I guess what I'm saying is, you could, worst come to worst, put a flathead V8, same style, same looking motor that it came with, but with updated internals and maybe a carburetor or whatever.
Yeah, you could get reliably, and probably these days, the parts availability for a flathead is probably the greatest that has ever been in history.
Yeah. Kind of horsepower you think you could get out of it?
At least I've seen in the mid 200s.
I was going to say 250,
which is an original 32 was 85 horse motor.
But dude, the car's done. There's no car there. It's just basically an engine with a frame and some steel around it. Oh my God, they'll let anybody in here. Even the locals.
Exactly.
He's a local.
Yeah, if he's driving a Ford convertible, you can.
Yeah. Well, not that one. No, it's not. Tim Spell has decided to adorn us with his presence today. All right, so let's go back and continue on. So, do they make wiring harnesses for the small block Chevy for that car? Do you have to make it yourself?
Basically, we start out with a universal wiring harness, and then that basically gives us a 12,
Everything you need.
It gives us everything we need, and these
With some wires left over.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. These cars are relatively simple designs.
Yeah.
This car doesn't have a radio. This car doesn't have AC.
It's a radio delete?
It's a radio delete.
Is it got a heater delete too?
No, it actually has a heater in it.
Yeah.
We put a heater in this car just for.
Was it 38 special? Is that the heater?
No, this has a vintage air heater under the dash.
Okay.
And so, but it does have the 270 AC in it. 2 windows down, 70 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And so it's
Do you have a top for it?
yes, sir. That car actually has a top. It's a cloth folding top.
So it's
basically.
more like a convertible.
Did you buy
It
it
is a
off the
convertible.
shelf, or did you have it made?
We bought the irons and we had the Hearts canvas put on it. When we first built this car, we bought a top and irons kit from a company called LeBaron Bonney, which has since closed down. But they made at that time restoration kits for upholstery and tops for different brands and models of cars.
What kind of transmission it's got in it?
That's got a Tremec TKO 5-speed.
It's a manual transmission.
Manual transmission.
Why did you decide to go to a manual transmission?
Because hot rods are supposed to have 3 pedals.
Okay, yeah, all right.
There you go.
That's
and
fair
small block Chevrolets.
That's a fair enough answer. I got it. But I know that they make some really good 3-speed automatics that would be able to take the horsepower. How much horsepower do you think it's got?
That's got a ZZ 430 crate motor from Chevrolet, so it's got 430 horse, 430 torque.
That thing would burn the tires off the back.
It works really well. That car. The last time we weighed the car, it was 2,618 pounds.
God.
And so the power to weight ratio works really well on that car.
About 2 horsepower per pound.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you do this for a living?
I do. Yes, sir.
What's the name of your shop?
Bruce's Rod Shop.
Bruce's Rod Shop.
We're in Spring, Texas. This coming January will be our 44th year for being in business. Dad started the company in '81, and this past June I've been doing it 36 years, working with Dad side by side, and
it was a family event.
Family, yes, sir.
When we first talked to y'all out at Tailpipes and Tacos a couple of 3 years ago, your mom was there. She was driving one.
Exactly. Yeah,
your dad, you, I guess. I think
it was. We came out to Tailpipes and Tacos out at Loopy Tortillas and the right outside of Katy area.
Right.
And so Mom brought her red Roadster out. My wife brought her black Roadster out. I brought my coupe out. Dad brought his green Roadster out. And
you swamped the place.
Yeah. That's our goal is to bring the show whenever we come. So it's.
Are the rest of the family here?
Bring the show with you.
My son and his wife Giselle, they're watching from the grandstands over here.
Gotcha.
Myself is here, of course, and my dad drove another one of our cars, and so.
And you drove him here.
Was that your
Yes,
dad
sir. who
I talked to first?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's Bruce, and I'm Bruce Jr. And so, my wife runs the office, and I run herd on the rest of the guys in the shop, and I have my clientele that I work on, and then Dad's retired and living his best life now.
Living the dream.
Living the dream, being able to come into the shop and only worry about the stuff that he wants to worry about, and play with his cars when he wants to play with his cars.
What are you working on right
Good
now
for
in the
him.
shop?
We have a plethora of stuff going on right now. We have a couple of 57 Chevrolets. We have a couple of 32 Fords that we're working on for customers. We have a Jeep project that we're working on. We have a 72.
So you don't work
Blazer.
just on 32s.
If it was solely up to me, that's what I would work on, because that's what I'm passionate about. Our industry runs in cycles. And so it seems
What cycle is this? Is this the rinse cycle?
the cycle right now is muscle cars and classic trucks. What I've noticed over the years is I've worked on cars for older generation, and then you have my generation, and they have a little bit younger generation.
Talk about my generation.
And so, yeah, of course. And so it seems like the older generation likes the hot rods. The children of that generation likes muscle cars, and the grandchildren of the first generation like what their grandparents were into. I've had the opportunity to be in it long enough where I've watched the cycles go and come, and so
you're old.
I am. Yeah, I feel.
Because that's what I'm hearing.
He's old.
That's what you tell. I'm looking for some help here. Okay?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, now that I know, I'll give you a little.
Are you bringing some cars down there to Gears and Grub show down in Friendswood?
I'll probably.
There's
have
the guy right
there.
Yeah,
he sent me a flyer. I need to, or he gave me a flyer, so I need to see if.
You need to go.
If it works into my schedule, because you got a couple shows out of town coming up, but yeah, it sounds like fun. We have friends that live down towards Friendswood, and they have their own personal shops in the garages community down there that we've gone to their coffee and cars deals. And so it's
help kind of support the area.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Well, we sure appreciate you stopping by and talking to
Our
us today.
pleasure.
Beautiful car. Thanks for showing it to us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show is available 24/7 through the iHeartRadio app. Just look for In-Wheel Time Car Talk. We also video stream on Facebook, YouTube at InWheelTime.com, and podcasts are available from your favorite podcast provider. The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show continues right after this quick break.
The original group of Lupe Tortilla restaurants will have you telling your family and friends just what the original recipe means when it comes to the best fajitas in Southeast Texas. Founder Stan Holt invites you to visit the first Lupe Tortilla near I-10 and Highway 6. Here is the original house that inspired the design of all the rest and the original charm that helped make Lupe Tortilla the go-to destination for Houston Tex-Mex. Nothing can compete with the original lime pepper marinade that everyone will agree makes Lupe Tortilla award-winning beef fajitas the best anywhere. Lupe Tortilla Katie's another location that gives you the same quality and service Houstonians have come to expect at Lupe's. It's located on 99 the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard in Katy. Find yourself in Aggieland? Head to the Lupe Tortilla in College Station. Located just around the corner from Kyle Field, it's a great place to enjoy those famous frozen margaritas before or after the game. Going to Louisiana, the Lupe Tortilla in Beaumont is on I-10, so you can't miss it. The original group of Lupe Tortilla restaurants has the best Tex-Mex anywhere, and you're invited anytime. Your car is a direct reflection of you, so don't be satisfied with color fade or a dingy, dull appearance. Get rid of those terrible automated car wash scratches. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your Save the Paint company. John Gray and his team of detailing experts can help your cars finish without a full repaint. Searching for the real experts in window tint or windshield protection? Gulf Coast Auto Shield. Dash cams, radar detectors? Gulf Coast Auto Shield. Got a new car? Get that thing protected as soon as you take delivery. If you don't know which of the multitude of protection products to go with, John Gray will give you an honest opinion and won't sell you something you don't need or can't afford. John will help you understand the many options and pricing right on the spot. He's your guy to have your ride looking its best and protected too. See the state-of-the-art shop yourself. Free tours anytime. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is easy to get to, located just south of the Southwest Freeway on the Sam Houston Parkway. Gulf Coast Auto Shield, full-service luxury car care today, and online at gcautoshield.com.
Today's In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show is coming to you live from Woody's Waterfront Rod and Custom Car Show at the Topwater Grill down here in San Leon, Texas. Thank you for riding with us today. Time now for the racing calendar, sponsored by Texas Muscle Car Club Challenge.
Yeah, we got IMSAs coming up in October, so we've got a couple more weeks for those folks to be handling their race challenges. Sports cars, yeah, IMSA. So we've got Kansas Speedway. Mic drop stuff. Kansas Speedway is tomorrow for the NASCAR boys, and then you got NHRA, the Midwest Nationals, coming up tomorrow out of St. Louis. Formula One, well, those folks are off until October, middle of October, October 18th.
And I know you're
on.
happy.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
So this week in auto history,
Yeah, go for it.
September the 17th, 1901, it was the debut of the Oldsmobile Curved Dash. Now, this may not sound like too big a deal, but it became the first mass-produced car in the U.S. There's a difference between mass-produced and being the one that was done like Henry Ford did on his line. So it became a pivotal event in automotive production history. The gasoline-powered Oldsmobile Model R was built on an assembly line using interchangeable parts, which is what made it different than just what Henry Ford was doing. It was introduced by the Oldsmobile Company in 1901 and produced from 1903, and there was 19,000 overall were built. Then, coming up in September the 21st, 1893 was the first gasoline-powered car in America. Charles and Frank Duryea road tested the first gasoline-powered car in the U.S. on the streets of Springfield, Massachusetts. That initial drive came to a sudden halt when after just a few hundred feet, their self-engineered transmission failed. Frank made a slight adjustment to design, had the car back up and running, and covered a half mile later in the day. It's regarded as the first time an American-manufactured gasoline-powered car was driven in the country. Then, in September the 23rd, 1969, the Dodge Challenger hit the market. It was the late 1960s. The muscle car craze was sweeping the United States. Dodge tossed a new Challenger in the ring. The Dodge Challenger, which made a market debut on September 23rd, 1969, was the 1970 model, was a direct response to the competition from the other automakers such as Ford Mustang and Chevrolet Camaro. It was muscular, aggressive-looking, had lots of choices in engines from a straight six to a big block 440 and even a 426 Hemi. 1969, September the 23rd, the Triumph Spitfire Mark IV launched. Now, this was important because this was a British manufacturer. Triumph launched the Mark IV Spitfire, became an iconic model in the sports car world. The Mark IV featured a redesigned rear similar to the Triumph Stag and the Triumph 2000 models. Front end was revised with a new bonnet, and so that the top of the wings, the door.
Have you read for a while, or is this a?
Yes, I'm thinking about something else, unfortunately. So the hood was welded down the top so that the hood opened like with the wings on it. The door handles were recessed, and the convertible top got squared off corners. Anyway, this had a
Take that drink away from him.
Width dashboard. The instrumentation was ahead of the driver instead of on the center of the dash, as had previously been done. And it had a lot of black plastic that we talked about earlier. In 1973, it was finished in wood. Had a 79.1 cubic inch engine throughout the entire production run.
Beautiful.
And that was the events this week in automotive history that stood out.
All right.
Whew. Yeah, buddy.
It was tough. Here's one for you, Mars. This is right up your alley. The Chrysler Voyager minivan. Remember that?
Yeah.
Well, it's returning to the retail lineup for the 2025 model year after several years as a fleet-only option. The Voyager will serve as the entry point to the brand's minivan lineup that includes the gasoline-powered Pacifica and the Pacifica plug-in hybrid. The Voyager starts at $41,690. So why are they building it if it's going to cost that much? I don't understand.
Fleet sales.
No, they're going to start selling it again to the public.
Oh, to the public.
But it starts at $41,690 with shipping, $350 more than the base 2024 Pacifica. That makes no sense to me.
No, it had to be really nice to beat out
the Voyager nameplate has roots dating back 40 years. Plymouth Voyager, one of two minivans, along with the Dodge Caravan, launched in 1984. I'm sorry, I don't even know why I brought that story. Forget it.
Neither we.
I don't know why. Stupid. Nissan won the first round in its long brewing boat battle with former chairman Carlos, I call him Gosen, I think it's pronounced Gone, at Moan, about who rightfully owns the indicted fugitive super yacht, with a court ruling Gone illicitly siphoned millions from the car maker to buy the 121-foot pleasure cruiser. Have you ever seen it? Oh, my God. It's unbelievable. Gone was ordered to give up the vessel to Nissan Motor Company while he and his wife and a company they created as a vehicle to purchase the yacht were ordered to pay $32 million in damages, according to the ruling by the British Virgin Islands High Court. The custom line Nevada 37 yacht, built by the Italian boat maker Ferretti, was christened Sachu.
God bless you.
Japanese for the boss. The boat builders company catalog listed the model as having 7 bathrooms, 5 main cabins, and 4 cabins for the crew. The yacht became a symbol of the alleged self-serving excesses at the crux of misconduct accusations against Ghosn, who was arrested in 2018 at the height of his power as chairman of the Renault Nissan Mitsubishi Alliance, then the world's biggest automotive group. Way to go, Ghosn.
There you go, buddy.
Moron.
My property's 105 foot deep. That boat's longer than
your property.
Yeah.
How many bathrooms do you have?
I get tired of walking from the front to the back of the yard.
How many bathrooms do you have on your property?
Is this a math test today?
No, I'm just imagining how big this stupid boat is.
It's right out there.
Political uncertainty in the U.S. and Canada creating concern for the auto industry as the United States-Mexico-Canada agreement approaches its scheduled review in 2026. Under the terms of the trade pact, which it dictates how vehicles and parts can move across borders without tariffs, the three countries must confirm in writing by July 1st, 2026, whether they want to continue the deal. Okay. United States, Canada, Mexico. There's that. That's upcoming. More to worry about. Let's not forget about the dock strike that's impending. Yeah. It's going to affect everybody in everything if they shut down the dock workers all the way from New England, all the way down the eastern seaboard, right over here to the Gulf of Mexico and down to Mexico. Okay.
See, now you need that big yacht.
Apparently so. We can all get on it and disappear. And Toyota Motor Chairman Akio Toyoda confirmed September 26th that the company will not renew its 10-year contract as a top sponsor for the Olympics and Paralympics following the Paris Games. International Olympic Committee saw revenues of $2.295 billion from its top sponsors for the period 2017 to 21, the second biggest source of income for the Olympic movement, with broadcasters paying $4.544 billion over the same period of time. No wonder our business is going broke. Just saying.
Just a couple of
We'd love to hear from you. Just shoot us an email. The address here is info@inwheeltime.com. Time now for a quick break. You're on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show.
Pro-Am Auto Accessories has been serving Houston's auto enthusiasts since 1984, providing world-class products for sports cars, European sedans, and American muscle. Pro-Am is known as the place to go to find exclusive and hard-to-find parts and accessories. Pro-Am is one of the very first distributors in the USA for brands such as Recaro, Redline, Momo, Corbo, and Simpson. Located in the heart of Houston's premier retail and service corridor, the Galleria area, Pro-Am's walk-in storefront includes an 8,000-square-foot warehouse, showroom, and installation bays. Pro-Am not only sells parts and accessories, but also offers installation and service. Pro-Am is now reaching a worldwide audience through Pro-Am.com, taking its local reputation to the rest of the world. At Pro-Am Auto, you'll be dealing with a small group of professionals who truly want to help you with your automotive needs. If you don't see what you're looking for on the website, call and Pro-Am will lend you a hand. Pro-Am Auto, 6125 Richmond at Green Ridge in Houston's Galleria area. Call them at 713-781-7755. The In Wheel Time Fall Tour begins Saturday, September 28th at Woody's 6th Annual Waterfront Rod and Custom Car Show. There'll be awards for Best Truck, Rat Rod, Import, Paint, Engine, Interior, and Best of Show. It happens at the Topwater Grill in San Leon, Texas, where the backdrop of Galveston Bay will be one for your car scrapbook. Registration is $30 per car on site. Visitors are free 8 to 4, Saturday, September 28th. It's Woody's 6th Annual Waterfront Rod and Custom Car Show at Topwater Grill in San Leon, Texas. The In Wheel Time Fall Remote Tour continues Saturday, October 12th from 8:30 to 3 at the Good Grub and Gears Car Show and Fall Festival, hosted by the Space City Corvette Club. See up to 300 cars under the trees in beautiful Stevenson Park in Friendswood. Competitors register online. Proceeds benefit Texas Equisearch. Showgoers are free and will see all makes and models of the finest rides at this judged event. It's Saturday, October 12th, 8:30 to 3 at the Good Grub and Gears Car Show and Fall Festival in Stevenson Park in Friendswood. Sponsored by Emmons Autoplex on FM 528 near the Gulf Freeway in Webster. The In Wheel Time Fall Remote Tour continues Saturday, October 12th from 8:30 to 3 at the Good Grub and Gears Car Show and Fall Festival, hosted by the Space City Corvette Club. See up to 300 cars under the trees in beautiful Stevenson Park in Friendswood. Competitors register online. Proceeds benefit Texas Equisearch. Showgoers are free and will see all makes and models of the finest rides around at this judged event. It's Saturday, October 12th, 8:30 to 3 at the Good Grub and Gears Car Show and Fall Festival at Stevenson Park in Friendswood. The In Wheel Time broadcast is sponsored by Emmons Autoplex on FM 528 near the Gulf Freeway in Webster.